Hi Flosstube, it's McCleary, Texstylust. Welcome to my channel. Hi Flosstubies, it's Lori. Welcome back to my channel. This channel is about cross stitch and quilting and other crafts. If you're new here, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, I really appreciate you and welcome back. Today's Flosstube is not going to be anywhere near the length that the last two were, where I did a WIP parade. If you haven't seen that yet, go ahead and go back on video 44 and 45 and take a look at that. There's a lot of good stuff in there. Today, I'm going to show you what I've done in the last 3 weeks. I have some fully finishes. I have a finish. I have some plans and a little bit of haul. And also sometime in the video, I'm going to announce the winner from the last two Flosstubes for the gift certificate to 123 Stitch for counting my WIPs. So let's go ahead and get started. It's been 3 weeks, very short life update. Since I last sat and chatted with you, Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitcher, came and hung out with me for a week. And we did some stitching, we did some thrifting, we did some antiquing. She's already showed some of her haul from that trip. I have one thing to show you from that trip. Also since then, it has been just horribly smoky here, all the way up into the 500s. And most days somewhere between 250 and 500, and just in the last couple days it's cleared out, and I'm so grateful. It's really hard. You know, you can't go outside, the kittens can't go outside, they've been really grumpy, and just really grateful that fall is looking like it's on its way. The wind is blowing a different direction, so it's unfortunately somebody else's turn for the smoke. And I'm hoping that some fall storms will kind of help dampen out the fires. It's kind of a mixed blessing. They're usually thunderstorms when we get them this time of year, and they can either help with the fires or they can cause the fires. Most of the time they do both. So let's go ahead and get started. So on the 13th, I am participating with Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts and Katie from So Tattered, and I'm stitching on Jack's Bash. And this is an awesome stitch. It's so fun to stitch on. It's hard to contain it to the 2 days of the month, the 13th and the 31st, but I did get a little bit more done. And this is my progress. I finished the castle. I got some letters in there, and I put another flower down below. So I'm looking forward to working on this here in a couple, 3 days to see what more I can get done on this. I am using the called for colors, and this is a 36 count Picture This Plus bramble. So I have it in this project bag, one of my Raven project bags with the matching. And do I have the floss? I guess I didn't grab the floss for this one, but I am doing it with the called for. The other thing I've started stitching on, and this actually, there will be another giveaway in this video, and I'll talk about it a little bit later, but I was contacted by Amy, who is Mrs. Flossie. She has started designing, and she has some adorable designs. So if you have not checked her out yet, I'll put her information down below in the description box, and you really should go check her out. That she contacted me and asked if I would like to have a pattern to give away, and I said absolutely. And then she offered one for myself, and I chose the Ribbon Thief because it is it's time for fall stitching. This is so pretty. I wanted to start it right away, so I went through what I had on hand for floss. So it's kind of a mixture of DMC and a few other flosses. And I did want to kind of stop here and talk about this a little bit. So I chose, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So one of the colors that it calls for on the floss is parchment, which I did have parchment, but because I was using a lot of other DMC, I decided to go with the DMC 712, but I wanted to grunge it up a bit. So I did my own coffee tea, oh, it's actually tea dye, not coffee dye. I did my own variegated floss using the DMC. And this is how this one came out. It turned out so well. I did 2 more DMCs, which one is called for and one is not. I did the dark, I think this is called brown, black, and DMC. It's 3371. Now, you might think that it didn't make much of a difference, but it actually did. It's a little hard to see on here that it did make a variegation difference. And then it also called for DMC 320. I didn't have 320, but 502 was very close and I liked it. And I also tea dyed this. Now, I do mine a little bit different because I like the variegation, so it wasn't just a dunk. I actually, I put more tea on one end and less to nothing on another end so that it looks similar to what you might see in a fancy floss where they've wound it around a board and they've dyed it from one end to the other. So really quick before we go on, I'm going to insert a video clip here of how I did it. I put this on my Instagram stories, and my Instagram channel is the same as my Flosstube channel. It's Texstylust. You do have to request to join it. That's just to keep the bots and the strange people out. But if I see your channel or I see your Instagram account and it looks like you have subscribe to other Flosstubers or other Instagram people who are cross stitchers, I will of course accept that. But I posted it in my story, so if you would like to see that, just follow along here and I will show you how I tea dyed these. I'm kitting up the Ribbon Thief by Mrs. Flossie, and it calls for parchment, but I'm doing the DMC conversion. So, but I do want some variegation on my parchment. This is DMC 712, which is the equivalent. So I'm just going to share with you real quick how I'm going to grunge this up. It's already cut into the 18-inch length, which is what I typically use. And I'm going to start at one end. And with my tea bag, I'm just going to get it saturated. I'm going to do it more on one end and then very lightly kind of do it just a little bit less and a little bit less. This is a tea bag I've already used, so it's not quite as dark, which is what I want. And now I'm going to go back and really saturate this side, so that's the darker end, and it's going to variegate into the lighter. Sorry for the rattling. So it's giving it a little bit of color. I'm going to go back one more time, as much as I can get out of this tea bag, and then I'm going to let this dry. And let me get a little bit more there. I'll let this dry and then rinse it out a little bit and then let it dry again, and I will show you what it looks like after I'm done. And this is dried a little, so I'm going to go over and rinse it very gently, and then I'm going to squeeze out the water. So I'm going to squeeze out the water by just running my hand down here. I'm treating the fibers pretty gently because I don't want the fibers to bloom any more than necessary. So it's rinsed, and I'm going to hang it to dry before I use it, and it'll be ready to go. So wasn't that kind of cool? I really liked how they turned out. This is the whole floss set. And I guess I should show you the stitch, shouldn't I? I am doing this also on one of my own hand dyes. I did this hand dye a long time ago before I really knew what I was doing, but it's one of my favorite pieces. This is my last piece of it. And so, you know, I like the more darker colors, and so I picked something pretty dark to put this on, but I'm loving how these flosses are playing well with this particular piece of fabric. Let me get back here. Maybe that's a little bit better. It shows more of the dark black and gray of the linen on here than it really is. When you're looking at it in person, you really see more of the rusts and the golds and stuff like that. So here's my floss. For the orange, I chose a Valdani. I actually love Valdani. I know a lot of people don't like stitching with it. I do. And I chose that for the pumpkin color, the orange pumpkin color. And the other one that was not a called for is a color and cotton. And I switched out the brown for this color and cotton, which is espresso. So there's my colors. If you want the exact color conversion, I will be happy to send that to you. So just drop a comment down below and I'll make sure that you get that. So that was a new start. So I did add to my WIPs by one, but that's okay because I finished one as well. So Ribbon Thief, Miss Flossie, go check her out. Mrs. Flossie, Amy, and pick one of your own. She has some really cute stuff. So I worked on that a little bit. The next thing that I worked on, one of my WIPs was Lottie Daw's Murder of Crows. And I think I showed you last time I had finished this one. That one I had finished quite a while ago. And then I had finished this one. And then the last one I finished was this one. So they're all done now. I can finish or fully finish them. This is not the floss ring. Oh, this is the floss ring for Jack's Bash. So this was done on, I have to think here. Hold one moment, please. Okay, I'm back. Since I had to go find the floss, I just grabbed the chart. So A Murder of Crows by Lottie Daw. And I am stitching, or I stitched these on a 32 count vintage, words are hard, vintage Lakeside Linen Sand Dune. So again, here they are. I'm probably going to finish these sooner rather than later. I've already picked out some backing fabric. They're going to be some sort of pin pillows or a combination of pin pillows and flat folds. I haven't decided yet. So I was super excited to get those done. I think they're adorable. You know, crows work everywhere from the end of summer all the way through to winter stitching. Okay, so that was a finish. So I'm still at the same number of WIPs, which we'll talk about in a little bit. The other thing that I worked on while Lisa was here, I was out in the big studio on the long arm, and I finished, and I will not be able to show you all of it. I quilted and I bound and washed. I've decided to call this Painted Hills. And of course, I'm just showing you a little bit of it. I went outside my norm and I decided to do, I don't know if you can see it on here, decided to do a more of a modern stitch. It's more of a modern quilt. So I did a modern stitch on it. I really like how it turned out. So it's a lot of straight lines and circles. and it's already on the couch. The kittens love it. It's their favorite quilt, so they spend a lot of time on it. So I was really happy to get this done. This WIP was 15 or more years older, or older. The other one that I completed was the Auntie Beanstalk by Linda Hall. And you can still find this pattern. In fact, I think I saw that you could even get it as a download on Fiddlesticks, a PDF download. So it's a super easy quilt. It looks complicated. It is not. It's just 60-degree triangles. They go together really fast. This is also a really old WIP or quilt WIP. And I just did a simple meander on this one and got it bound and washed in the last couple days. And I'm super pleased with this as well. And I'll pop some pictures up above of the entire quilt so that you can see what those look like. So that's what I've been stitching on. I did spend an entire day yesterday going through both of the two previous videos to count and recount my WIP so that I made sure that I had the accurate count, but also because it gave me an opportunity to sit down and document all of the WIPs. And now I have them in a spreadsheet. I'm a data person. I have them in a spreadsheet. I have listed about the approximate size. I've listed where they're located at, whether they're hanging up, whether they're in a project bag, whether they're being worked on. Also put down the fabric that they're doing. So hopefully going forward, I'm going to have that information right at hand. And then, did I mention it already? Kind of how much is done and how much I have to go. So, I like being able to keep track of things, and hopefully that will kind of help with planning going forward. So I'm going to insert right here, because I need to do this after I record the video. I'm going to insert right here the winner of the $25 gift certificate to 123 Stitch. The correct number of WIPs was 84. Several of you had answered correctly, and so I chose a person from the number of correct answers. So thanks for playing along. I really appreciate it, and I do have a giveaway later in the video today. So thanks for playing. Thanks for helping me count my WIPs. I really appreciate it. Okay, the next thing I'm going to talk about is a find that I found when Lisa and I were out antiquing. There is three good antique malls in Redmond, which is about 20 miles from where I live. We always like to visit when she's here, and we both found some really cool stuff. The one thing that I found, it's kind of heavy. I'm going to try to hold it up here and describe what it is. So we walked in, and I went immediately to my favorite booth, and I was kind of poking around, and I saw this drawer pull kind of underneath a bunch of stuff. And of course I had to investigate things like drawer pulls. I know it's weird. Some of them speak to me, and you'll see why here in a minute. And so I uncovered this, and it's like I was looking at this wooden box, and it's like, oh, that's really interesting. I don't know what that is. And so I looked at the tag, and I started playing with it, and I discovered what this box is. It's a cash box, and it was made in England. I'm going to re-video this section and splice it in, because I tried showing you by holding it up in this box is just too heavy. My spectacular find is a cash till box. It is a Gled Hills patent cash till that was made by G.H. Gledhill and Sons of Halifax and London. Halifax, Yorkshire is where this gentleman hailed from. These are handmade. They were either oak or mahogany. I think this one is mahogany. These were patented. He was a shopkeeper, and he patented these, and he also patented time clocks. I believe this one is in the late 1880s is when this one was manufactured. And his company actually stayed in business until 1975. But what I saw when I first came in was this part was covered up, and all I saw was this drawer pull. So like I said, I had to investigate. And the way it works, this is kind of a secret. It looks like it is a screw that screws that on, but it's actually what unlocks it. And you can see when you open it, it has several drawers for change. It has billow till here. It's just very cool. And then you can close it. You could also lock it through here, and I think there's one more. Yeah, there's a lock right here. It didn't have the key, unfortunately, but I believe I can find a key that will fit it. On the top here, it had a spot now. Underneath, I'll show you here in a moment, but there would be a roll of paper. Some of them had like a little glass piece that went across here, and then back here you could actually put in change or dollar bills. But you can open it up, and it still has, with a lot of writing on it, it still has the instructions for fixing if something goes wrong, how it works, talks about the patent. And then I'm just going to show you down here, there's the bell that rang, and the mechanisms all work really well. I haven't cleaned this up at all. This is exactly how I got it from the shop. This is where you would roll the paper. So the paper would sit here, and then there's a little spindle. It would go around, it would go over here, and it would roll here. So I assume that those are for writing the receipts. And then it even still had, it's very old, the paper on how to thread the mechanism. So that is still there. It's just, it was so unusual. I knew I'd never see anything like this again. There is, trying to focus here, there's the number, probably the manufacturer number, meaning either the model or how many of the model, probably more of that. But it was just super, super cool. And I went and looked it up online. There is one in a museum in England, and there was just a ton of information on the gentleman who created these and patented these. So that was my major find. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to use it. I might have it open and put some smalls in it. I may just use it in my shop. I'm not sure, but it was really cool, and it was pretty reasonably priced. So there's my find. Whew, that was an ordeal. Got my workout today. Okay, I did get a little bit of haul besides that. I don't remember who I was watching that inspired this purchase. And I'm not going to pronounce these names correctly, so pardon me. But there was someone who was working on this, and I think it's Coulier Tourtrel. I don't know. But the chart is Clemence Janou, 1889, and I'm going to take it out of, and you can get these as PDF downloads, and it's from Creative Poppy, and I saw that, and I knew immediately I had to go get it. It was beautiful. It is beautiful. I don't know that I'll be starting it anytime soon, but it's going to be there in my collection. Oh, there's the name. It's going to be there in my collection once I'm ready to stitch that. So while I was there, when I clicked on it, because I was a new customer, I got a discount code. So I had to get a second chart, of course. And this is from the same designer, and this is Hortense de Frocourt, 1887. Again, I'm pretty sure I mispronounced that, but I love the simplicity of this little red stitch. So it'll go in my red stitch pile. Really loved those. So those are the two cross stitch pieces of haul. And I have a little bit of quilt haul, which I'm going to share here in just a moment. Because it's going to kind of tie right into plans. So let's put these aside. So let's see here. Crinkle, crinkle. Sorry about that. I should have gotten this out. So I'm going to mix my plans with the rest of the haul. I have been planning some Halloween themed quilts for the cottage bedroom. And I don't know if I've showed these before, but I'll show them again just in case. I found these quilts on Pinterest. I was looking for something that used the same colorway as many of Brenda Gervais and or Paulette Stewart's Halloween stitches. And I found that in Fig Tree. So she uses a lot of the same colors. So I have 3 jelly rolls here. They're all different lines, but they all work really well together. So part of my haul was All Hallows Eve. You can see the colors there. I'll kind of turn this slowly. And you can see how these colors will fit in very nicely with those 2 designers. So this is one jelly roll. And this jelly roll is going to be making this quilt. And you can find this, it's free on Fig Tree's blog, or I don't remember if it's a blog or if it's her business account for ordering. It might be both. Anyway, so I'm going to be making this quilt out of this line. And then I already had these, but I'll show you so you can, there's 3 beds in there, by the way. So I can show you kind of my thought process here. The next one is Harvest Moon. And you know what? I think I already got that backwards. Harvest Moon is the one that I'm going to be making that quilt out of. So this one. And you can see it's very similar. They actually, one is from some years ago, and then this one is the more recent one, but they are intended to be reminiscent of each other. So that's that one. This one is going to be the one that I just showed you. But the pattern is actually Merry Christmas, Darling, who is the Cotton Way. So it's a 2015 pattern, and you can get, this is a PDF download. This is the actual quilt. That's what the pattern looks like. But you can see it can be made in many different colorways. I'm going to make it in a Halloween colorway, and I'm going to use the All Hallows Eve, which is an older line. So that's what that's going to be. And then the third quilt, again, this is off of the Fig Tree website, and it's called Harvest Moon Spools. So the instructions are there as well, and I'm using her Pumpkins and Blossoms line. I will not be using any of the greens. I will be using the creams and oranges and taupes and blacks. Those colors right there on this one. So I think they're going to be adorable. They are going to be, of course, semi-sewing related. And so I think that they'll take me from late summer into fall, Halloween, etc. And I think they're going to be cute. And they look like all of them are fairly simple, straightforward patterns. This one's just going to take a little bit more piecing than the others. Oops, upside down. A little bit more piecing than the others, but it's a pretty simple, straightforward quilt, just one block. So that is some haul and plans. The other haul I got recently was I have several jelly rolls of butternut and peppercorn, and this is a Pam Buddha, and it's a little hard to see the whole line here. I might, if I can find the project board for this, I'll pop it up here so you can see the line. I have several because I'm going to make a couple quilts, maybe more than 2. out of this line for the prim room and also maybe just for the house. So that was a little bit more quilt haul. So plans. So of course those quilts are going to be coming up. I think I'm going to start cutting out the first one today. I shared plans in the last video of my fall stitching that I'm going to start. So my WIP number is going to go up and then it's going to go back down because most of them are smalls. And then I have a few focus pieces. And then I have some plans here too. This is a piece of fabric. Okay, let me back up. I wanted to have a quilted table topper that covers the entire top of my dining room table for fall. And I picked this fabric up, 2 or 3 years ago when I was at Joann's looking for something else. I don't typically buy fabric from Joann's. It's not the quality generally, not all the time. It's not the quality generally that I would want in a quilt that I want to last a long time. It's really great if you don't have the ability to go to a quilt shop or it's a price factor as well. It's fine. I've made quilts out of that, and I would use them for utility quilts as well. So quilts that are going to get a lot of use. But I saw this fabric, and like I said, I don't think they have it now. I'm pretty sure it was 2 or 3 years ago that I bought this. But I love twa, and I love pumpkins, and this is both. And it's a very busy fabric, and it has pumpkins, and it's great colors, and it's also a twa. And I just bought 3 yards of it. I had no idea what I was going to do with it, but I knew I loved it. So I was looking at it. I pulled it out. It was in my stack, and it's like, oh, this would be a great table topper. I'm just going to quilt it really densely, and it'll be the main piece of the table topper. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to border it in this twill. Oops, let me get it up here. I need to work on my display game here. There we go. So what you'll see when it's done is most of the tabletop will be that, and the border on 2 sides will be this ticking, not twill, ticking. And I think that's going to look really, really cute. So I have this picture in my mind of how it's going to look when it's done, and hopefully I can make that happen. So that'll probably be happening in the next week or so. So hopefully I'll have something to show you next time on that one. The other things I thought I'd share with you are some wool applique fall plans. These are plans. I may or may not get to them at all. I may get to one. I may get to several. I might get them cut out and started and not get any further, but we'll see. But here's some ones that are kind of at the top of the list. And I think I need to take this out of the bag so you can see it. The first one is a pattern from So Cherished, and it's called Fall Harvest. And I have that big platter. I bought it 1 year at Buttermilk Basin, and I did get it home in my suitcase on the airplane. So I have that in my living room. So I think that will be beautiful. And I have the entire kit. So I think it's going to be lovely. That's really not a whole lot of tracing. So just to get it, I would be happy if I got it traced out, cut out, and fused on the quilt. So that it looks like more work than it probably is. Of course, the stitching it down, is what takes the time. The other one is one that I purchased 3 years ago. Oh, it looks like, well, it was put together. The kit was put together in 2020. It might have been one that Lisa brought back for me. I don't remember. Because I didn't go to Fall Retreat that year. And it's from the Woolen Needle, and it's called Blue Ridge Beauty. and it is stunning. I've seen this every time I go in. They have it hanging up there. I really love this. And here's the kit. You can see the colors are so yummy. So I'd like to get that one traced out and cut out and fused as well. This one is, even though the motifs are big, there's a lot of pennies there, so it will take a little bit more time, but I would be happy if I got that. And it's huge. This is bigger than you think. Let's see. It's 24 wide by 43 long, so it should cover my entire coffee table. So that's been on my list of things to start for quite a while. And then I have a whole stack here. These are mostly buttermilk basin, but there's also a couple primitive gatherings. And this one, Lakeview Primitives. I actually stumbled across this pattern probably on Pinterest. Someone had posted a version that they had did with this. And I love Jacobean anything, and this is a Jacobean pumpkin, and I think it is so pretty. So that's been on my list for a long time to do. So the whole part of the pumpkin, there's different motifs. And let's see, let's do the buttermilk basin ones next. This one, oh, I actually already have this one going. I'm going to set that aside. I'll show it if I can bring it out. This is really cute. This is from the With Thy Needle, Thy Time Is Mine, and it's September, the month of September. And I actually have the pattern for the larger part of this. So this is a standard piece, and then you change it out by changing this little piece, and that's what this one is. So that is on there. A little So Simple. It's a mini quilt, which you can hang. You could even put it on that bigger thing. And then these are really cute. They make just adorable pincushions. This one is May, but I think it works for any time of the year, depending on the colors you use. It's called So, and they're cards. And then here's September, and it has the word fall. The other two that I have on my list are Leaf and Acorn Needle Case and Pincushion. And these are from Primitive Gatherings, which is Lisa Bongine. And this pumpkin table mat. Now, it looks tiny on this little thing, but this is also larger than you think. I think it's a 18-inch across. So it's a good size. So those are some plans, whether I get to them or not, but it's always fun to plan. It's my favorite part of the process. I think that's actually it for today. I think next video will be a lot longer than this one. Hopefully I'll have a little bit more stitching to show. The smoke is gone. Summer's winding down. My son will be going back to college in 2 or 3 weeks, and I'll have a lot more time to work on things that I love. So glad you stopped by. It's been great chatting with you. I hope you're all having a great end of summer. Hope you are having fun, getting ready for school, getting ready for fall, etc. Oh, I almost forgot. Okay, so back to a giveaway. As I mentioned, Miss Flossie, Miss Flossie offered to provide a pattern to give away on my channel, and I'd like to do that. So general standard rules about giveaways apply. You need to be 18. You need to be, don't say giveaway, don't say anything like that. And I think this can probably go anywhere in the world because she's probably going to send a PDF. You need to be a public subscriber. And what I'd like you to do is tell me what your favorite thing about going back to school / fall is. What's your favorite memory? That's it. What's your favorite memory? So for me, as a child, kind of my favorite thing about this time of year was going school supply shopping. There was something about those brand new pencils and a full box of color crayons that they weren't broken, they were all there, and paper and all of that stuff. I really, really love that. And to this day, I still like to go, I'm a grandmother now. I still like to go to the school supply aisle and just look and see what all of the cool back to school stuff is. So that's a favorite memory of mine. Tell me what your favorite memory of fall / back to school is, or if you don't have one, what's your favorite thing that reminds you of fall? Another thing, I have a fall tradition where about this time of year, September 1st, I start pulling out old movies to watch. And the first two that I always watch they're Disney, and it's like a double feature CD or DVD that I have. And it's Ichabod Crane and Mr. Toad. So those are the first things. And then of course there's several others that I watch. So something like that, a memory that, or something that you do, some ritual about fall. Put that down below in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you all next time. Take care. Bye-bye.